Greetings, fellow traders. Paul here. It's time for the Lunchtime Market Update for Tuesday, June the 1st, 2021. I hope everybody's having a great trading day today. This is brought to you by Positive Trends Research, and everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice, so please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. Good. All right, well, let's check and see where we're at the market here today. So monthly chart, guys, it's up $2.85 here, but the monthly chart is turning red here already here on the SPX. Which is looking kind of interesting, right? So we had a big gap up here this morning. We're down a little bit here based on the open, which is why it's turning red. And but interesting start to June right here. Weekly chart again in the red here, obviously too, and daily chart looking like a shooting star candle after those three really super duper choppy grind up days. Now let's take a look at the SPY and take a look at the volume and see how it's looking right here. Okay, so even with the down moves here today, we still have less volume than halfway through the day on the choppy days, right? So it's possible that a lot of folks are still on vacation, right? But one of the things that we noticed is that, wow, there was some profit taking here this morning, right? That was kind of the big thing. We were generally pretty bearish going into the open just because of how extended we were. You can see here on the SPX, just big upper shadow right there and a big drop. If you go to the hourly chart, right, you can kind of see here that we're maybe looking at a potential 1-2-1-2 right now to work on the larger wave 3 up. So generally, we are kind of looking this way. It is possible that this was a wave 5 finish right here. We could be working on an ABC down as well. So we just kind of need to track that going through the next couple sessions or so, see if we get any volume coming in here. But right now we're looking at some chop here going into the afternoon after the sell-off. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some sort of downside action here into the end of the day. But right now we're just kind of going sideways. Again, this was the big deal this morning is overnight, right? We saw this overnight drift up here. We broke out above the geometric lines and a nice push up. And we got into the open here today. We started to get really extended. I mean, obviously really extended. So once they started to sell right away, everybody's like, let's just go ahead and take some profit, right? So the interesting thing is that we're not seeing a lot of volume, right, come in here throughout the day. It was some at the open right here. There's a couple of the drops. But for the most part, right, volume's really kind of tapering right here. And like you said, we're seeing a lot less here in the day. So let's see how it goes here. We might be forming a pennant here going into the night. I feel like that we're going to step up and maybe they're going to try to buy the dip a little bit, and then we might see some more downside action later. It's been kind of a tricky day right here. So we've already tagged the we may come back and tag the 382. It might even go back to the 618 for some more downside action. We'll see. But like I said, guys, it's kind of a low volume day, so might just have to let it chop and see what we have in store for tomorrow. Like I said, they took a lot of the action, long side action off the table today, and then they really pushed it down this morning. Members did well on it. We pointed out some short opportunities here. You can see through the MES we talked about here in the second 5-minute candle for a nice push here on the lower term time frames. We also lost this geometric line, which also gave another opportunity here as well. And there was a dip buy opportunity, which we demonstrated in the group too, as a reasonable move here for for about a 50% gain on the options on those. So good stuff there. Other than that, let's go to the Qs and see how they're looking at here. Look at what they're looking like here today. So again, big depth buy here, but again, we talked about in the bubble report this morning. Watch these geometric lines, and of course we lost those, retested it, and so there's a little bit of caution there going into the afternoon. IWM, let's take a look. So IWM was gapping up here this morning, ended up holding this geometric line, so we got a nice bounce off of that. As for the XLF, just kind of chopping around here, but it did have some relative strength this morning. Lots of divergences this morning, right? The market was flushing kind of right at the open right here, and the XLF was generally looking pretty strong, and a lot of the banks were holding up as well. As for the VIX, let's take a look. So VIX is getting a little bit perky here this morning. Again, it was in the low low 16s, early on, and then it just basically started to kind of perk up here today. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple was one of the weaker names this morning too. It's kind of a choppy down move here this morning between zones. It gave a little bit of a dip buy earlier, but again, a lot of names is looking kind of blah here today. Tesla again, just basically flat. They tried to gap it up here this morning. We got a little momentum move here through the geometric level, and then back to the signal zone. So just kind of chopping around here right now. Boeing was kind of interesting. This is one that was a nice gap up this morning based on an upgrade from Cohen today. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see if it continues to hold its signal zone here. And then BABA, guys, this is straight from the bubble report this morning. We were looking for the fade. Why? Because it was really gapping up on no news, right? And where it was gapping was this these levels here, which we talked about on the Good Morning Market Prep video for members. We were gapping up to this area right here, but we weren't really getting over any major levels, right? So we said there's a possibility we could get into this gap down here, which we already gotten to. So that was a nice move on BABA here this morning. So we got a couple chart requests out there. Let's take a look at those. We got Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, guys, struggling, right? So we're below the 80 MA right here. We're coming back to the 200. We're below the macro geometric line. Again, see how it handles this 30,000 level. It gets down here. If it breaks down below there with increasing volume, look out below for Bitcoin. Coin, let's take a look. So this one again too, just kind of hanging out at the 80 MA right now. Not really too much going on. AMC. Again, this got a gap up this morning, which is nice for it, right? So it had a big push on Friday. I don't think a lot of folks wanted to hold it over the weekend, but it did get a gap up here today, and I think they did like an offering. They did like some straight selling, but they're looking to buy, I think, like more movie theaters, things like that. So that could be pretty interesting. Let's take a look at not triple B, BB. Let's take a look at Blackberry. Again, that had a nice gap up here today, too. I like the inside day over the cloud, so let's see if that can hold and try to break that way up here going into tomorrow. Of course, GME. Let's take a look at this one here. Inside day over the ADMA right here. Big gap below. If it takes that inside day down, it may want to test the ADMA on that one. SNDL, I've been getting a lot of requests for this one here, too, recently. Let's take a look. So SNDL could be forming, I guess, a pot name and all that stuff. So CGC had earnings, today, so a little bit of sympathy there. We like kind of Tilray. We talked about that yesterday. Good volume on Friday. Again, possible doji sandwich in the works right here, but also watch out for the doji reversal. AMD, this was on our bullish radar today, going into today, and it also gave us a nice green move here this morning. So that was nice on AMD. And PLTR, let's take a look. PLTR is struggling, guys. It's kind of hanging on to the geometric line right now, but and over the ADMA, but just a lot of red days here so far. So just kind of keep an eye on it, see how it holds these levels. I'd like to see a nice green candle pierce into the cloud and maybe kind of work on a future momentum move out of there. So we'll see how that goes there too. Anyway, guys, good stuff. This so far today, basically just watching the SPY and just kind of seeing how if we can get a little bit of a drift up and maybe get a potential pullback again into the afternoon. But we'll see how that goes depending on the volume. Other than that, guys, hopefully you found this helpful, and we'll see you guys in the market wrap. And until then, stay healthy out there. Remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game.